I expect when I return? Upon return, what do I expect? This is going to be interesting. I expect reality to have finally settled in upon my return. For a lot of people, that reality is not going to be good. But it'll finally settle in. Look, something that I'm seeing now that when I come back, I won't be seeing, I don't believe, is this whole ramped up speed Americans are on. This drive to get there in a hurry. I must do this now. I must finish this. I must make it here. You know, you can only go so fast before you crash and burn out. And I think early on, next year, Americans are going to crash and burn, literally. They're just going too fast. And it's not necessary to go that fast. Have you all ever seen the movie Crash with Sandra Bullock? I believe it came out in the early 2000s. If you've never seen that movie, go and watch it. It's very symbolic of what's about to happen collectively to Americans. We're about to crash, America. Some people are saying it's going to be a recession, a depression. For a lot of people in America, it's already a recession and depression. So that's not the crash I'm talking or referring to. I'm talking about a crash because we're going too fast. We're not really taking time to really think about what we're doing before we do it. And that's going to have really negative effects next year. You have to be thoughtful in whatever you do. And I believe because we're so used to instantaneous fixes and quick, this has to be done quickly. I need this by tomorrow. This order has to be filled by Tuesday. We're so used to rapid speed. We're so used to items always being on the shelves. We've grown accustomed to a particular type of comfort that I think the reality is going to set in next year that's not in the cards for the future. And then at that point, I think people will slow down. They'll realize what's really important. And hopefully one thing people will do is be grateful. Look, right now there's a lot of people not grateful for shit. They might have some shit and they're not grateful. Come this time next year, they might not have anything. And then they'll reflect on what they had last year. And that's when maybe they'll become a little bit more grateful. And it could be anything. Your life could suck right now. But maybe you got a dog or a cat. Next year your life could suck too, but maybe your dog passed away. Now you're thinking about last year you didn't have anything, but you did have your dog. And now this year you don't have nothing. You see, that's what I mean. People who have employment this year but don't like it, don't want to do the job correctly. Next year, by this time, they might not have a job. And then maybe they'll be grateful for when they did have one. There's no guarantees in life. And a lot of people have forgotten that rule. And that's not a rule that we made. That's a universal rule. Hey, you could go to bed tonight, not wake up tomorrow. It's possible. Any of us. So when we have things, we should be grateful for them. And we should be patient when we want to get other things. It's true, patience is a virtue. We have to instill in our citizenry perseverance and patience. That has to be instilled in the citizenry. That when in difficult times you have to persevere. And you have to have patience enough to hopefully persevere through the difficulty. That has to be instilled. Because a lot of people think that something should always be the way it is. And now the reality is settling in. That things have changed. What we had grown accustomed to, a lot is no longer the case. What will I see that's different upon my return? I think attitude will be different, for sure. Some people always have a lousy attitude, so I expect to see that. But I also expect to see people more humbled. Definitely more humbled. The reality is going to settle in. I think very early on next year. Crashing out. Look, around this time of year, end of year, there's a lot of anxiety and stress to begin with because people have to plan for getting gifts. People are going over to see their family. And that creates stress and anxiety. So it's understandable that around this time of year, people are are short-tempered, really in a hurry to get a lot of things done that they procrastinated on. All of those things are understandable. It's also very cold outside, so people's mood is more chilly and standoffish. All of those things are understandable. What's not going to be understandable is the hostility and anger and animosity. I think that bodes really badly for the country. I really do. And I think upon my return, I think people will finally kind of come to that realization. Look, I could come back and the whole entire country is burning down. If that's the case, I'm going to stay in the air. I'm going to tell them, hey, please make a 360. I'm serious. A lot of this is going to come down to what the citizenry wants to do. A lot of it. So people can blame other people, as they're often to do. But a lot of this is going to come down to what the citizenry wants. So as I always say, make good choices. Make good choices. That's all I can say. That's my only advice. If good choices are made, then things are going to be humming. Hey, I could come back and there's parties in the street. But if folks make bad choices, expect horrible circumstances, I guess. Either way, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday. I really do. Take some time to decompress and relax. You know, sometimes we can get so worked up in our little silo that we don't think that we should take time to relax and enjoy ourselves. I think that would be a mistake this year. Take some time to relax, enjoy yourself. Look around and see what you have. Say, I have X, I have Y, I have Z. I'm happy. And when you internalize that, you're going to see you're not as far behind as you think. A lot of times people think they're further behind than somebody that they don't know. And what will happen is everybody's going through the same shit. And nobody wanted to tell you. So, don't think you're behind. You're right where you need to be. But you only can see that if you decompress and relax. So relax this holiday season, Americans. Relax a little bit. As they used to say, lighten up a bit.